contest the elections. Some members who are NPP telling the country that you applied for the renunciation of your citizenship that I no longer want to be identified as a citizen of this country. And that for me itself, it speaks volumes. Now, because of COVID, there was a delay. Whatever the case is, when he applied for the renunciation of his citizenship, and then the process had kick-started. Now, on the 27th, when he was supposed to appear before the Electoral Commission through the Director of Elections, Dr. Silbo, on the 26th, he got the certificate of renunciation. So when he appeared before the Electoral Commission, with that certificate of renunciation, the Electoral Commission were satisfied and said that he was qualified to contest for the 2020 elections. Because even before they even listened to him, he tendered in the certificate. And it is very clear. If you look at our electoral rules, if you look at the section 9 of PNDC law 824, is it 824? I'm not certain, but I can get the specific, laws and what it says. It says that for you to qualify to contest an elections, the qualification is determined at the time of the elections. Now, if you take the Ndum case was also very clear that the processes, the election is not, in fact, the Supreme Court said, among other things, that the elections wasn't an event, that elections are a process, and that you don't take one event to determine whether someone is qualified to contest or tender in his nomination for the purposes of contesting an elections just using one event. It's just a process. Now, if you look at that decision of the Supreme Court, juxtaposing it in this case, I don't see why anybody could challenge the validity of Honorable Question for contesting the 2020 elections. So the Electoral Commission, in their wisdom, and haven't been, privy to all these evidences, and did their own checks and authenticate the certificate of renunciation, they declared him to contest the elections. It is imperative for us to also note that I am told that Honorable Kennedy Ajapong had pronounced that even if Honorable Question, that is before the 2020 elections, that even if he won the elections, they were going to ensure that he was booted out of Parliament. And true to that infamous statement he made, the NPP actually, followed through with the thread. I have also heard others who have argued that it is not NPP that got him out. It is just a citizen of this country who is clothed with the right to do what he did. But there is no denying the fact that particular person is a leading member of NPP in the constituency. 2, the lawyers who represented him were NPP, known NPP lawyers. So there is no denying that fact. And there wasn't a single NPP member who said that the man was justified to contest the elections because the Electoral Commission had cleared him, because he had his renunciation certificate on the 26th before he appeared before the Electoral Commission. The NPP supported it. They supported the gentleman with all the needed resources. They supported him with the legal support and even the resources in terms of money for the purposes of ensuring that they succeeded in doing what they did. So there is no denying the fact that the NPP actually took the man to court. But you see, in all this discussion, my focus is not as to whether the man was qualified in the first place to contest or not, because I don't want to cry over a spilt milk. He was disqualified by the Supreme Court ruling. There is an election that is going to be conducted, and thank God that the NDC decided that he should be the candidate representing the NDC in the by-elections. But what is critical that I have seen that everybody is glossing over is the denial of the people of Assin North for representation. They were denied representation over a year. As a member of Parliament, I represent the good people of Tamale Central. I have filed questions on pertinent issues affecting the people of Tamale Central. And those questions I filed in Parliament. Some of them were actually responded to. And the issues I was expecting that those issues would be tackled, they were indeed tackled. Whether I was satisfied with the way, the attention that was given to those issues or not. Whatever the case is, what was so much a concern to the people of Tamale Center, for which reason, as their representatives, I made a case on the floor of Parliament, those issues were addressed. The people of Assin North Senna, were denied the opportunity to be represented. There were people in that constituency who had some challenges, individually or collectively, or communities within the constituency. They were denied the opportunity for their issues to be taken up for some concern and attention being given. They were denied. They were denied not because the person they elected to represent them was not willing to represent their interests. He was desperately yearning and wanting to make a case for them for the purposes of the challenges confronting them. Yet, he was denied the opportunity to do so by President Nana Addo and the entirety of the NPP. There is no way anyone can insulate the President and the NPP from what is happening in Assin North today. They can bathe the President and the NPP with all the perfumes in Arabia. They will still be smelling that desperate attempt to ensure that they reduce the number of the NDC's representation in Parliament because of the hanged nature of the Parliament we have. But you see, let's factor in, and for me, I expect my good brother, who is representing the New Patriotic Party on this platform, to be concerned about the challenges confronting the people of Assin North. He is being represented in Parliament by a member of Parliament. And I'm asking a simple question. How would he feel if he is denied that representation? Now, the shocking aspects of it is that the man was still the member of Parliament because no court at that time disqualified him or even ruled on the eligibility of he representing the people of Assin North. Yet he could not come to Parliament. And it was deliberately done, ostensibly to ensure that the number of the NDC in Parliament was reduced for the parochial and partisan interests of NPP. So that is why anytime I have the opportunity to speak on this issue, I really would want to speak to the people of Assin North directly. That whatever you have gone through, the denial of representation was caused by no less a person or no less a group than the NPP. They denied you representation. They were old men and old women, young boys and young girls, kids, nursing mothers, pregnant women who had challenges in the constituencies and whose challenges could better have been addressed by their member of representation in the person of Honorable Question. He could not address your challenges. He could not come to your aid because he was denied from doing that by the NPP. He was denied from representing you. He was denied of making a case for you, your water problem, your electricity problem, farmers, your roads. All those challenges confronting you, he could not address them because he was denied by the NPP from doing the things that he was elected to do. You were convinced that he was the better person to represent you. And truly to that, he was indeed the better person to represent you. For which reason? Even though Nana Addo won in that constituency, you elected him as your representatives. I want to call on the people of Assin North that you have demonstrated an outstanding resolve and principle that it doesn't matter the political party you belong. What is significant, that the person who represents you in Parliament. I implore you to do same in these by-elections. The NPP, I am aware that they have started coming and they have been doing that for some time now. Giving young people loans. I'm told they have given young people and women 500 Ghana cedis loans. It's your money. Take that money, chop that money, and show them, not just the NPP, the entire political elite, that the Ghanaian citizen can no longer be taken for granted. So the money they have given you, it is your money. Because if they loved you so much, they would have allowed the person you overwhelmingly elected to represent you. This man was denied his common fund for over 1 year. We have been able to do a lot in our constituencies because we had access to the common fund. We have been able to help pay school fees because we have access to common fund. We have been able to organize classes. We have been able to build cheap compounds. We have been able to support the needy, those who are challenged in our constituencies, because we legitimately and legally have access to some resources. Small as that resource may be, we have been able to do our best in providing the needs of our people in our constituencies because we had access to those little resources. Honorable Question was denied same opportunity. He is enveloped by Assin Central. He is enveloped by other constituencies. Their MPs are doing a lot. Please let them know that you are principled people. Let them know that you are people with dignity and uprightness. Let them know that your representation is more important than the monies they are giving you. Because there is evidence that in other places where we have had by-elections and they went and started executing projects, after they won the elections, those projects have been brought to a standstill. So that is exactly what they want to do to you. Now, they have argued that some of these roads or this infrastructure that we engage in, that we started them, and therefore it is just something that we are continuing. If they finish executing those projects, they did so because they wanted to frustrate the MP. They wanted to ensure that that MP is not able to do anything. And the fact that Honorable Kennedy Japan had announced that in fact, I didn't hear him, but that is the information of Assin North and the citizens of this country, most importantly the electorates, can never be taken for granted. And the only way you can appease him is by voting overwhelmingly to maintain him as the member of parliament. And in the larger perspective, those of us who are Democrats and who believe in the democratic principles, these monies that the state is spending for the purposes of these by-elections is absolutely reckless and needless. We could have avoided this because they knew that this particular case is much ado about nothing. They knew very well that the Electoral Commission had cleared the deputy, very intelligent person, someone who means well for the people he represents. He was only denied the opportunity to do the things that he wanted to do. So you have the opportunity and you must do that on the day of the elections. Sana, I'm done.
Thank you very much. Let me indicate that we are also live on Shine FM in Akati on 96.9 FM.
Let's celebrate our women. And my brother, the honorable MP for Kalani Central. The subject matter for discussion this morning ordinarily should be a straightforward matter, but I don't know why sometimes as a country we want to complicate issues. On the 9th of February 2009, there was a farm in Boku Central by name Somaila Bilbil. Somaila Bilbil, we go back to do it all over again. High Court ruled that yes, Bilbil was right in that Adamu Sakandi was not qualified to be in Parliament to represent the people of Boku Central. At that time, my brothers in the NDC were around. My brother Butala was vociferously around. I saw nothing wrong with that ruling from the High Court. And so I would be very surprised, and I'm very surprised this morning to hear you say that indeed what has happened inside the APC is something that is deliberate. It is not. It's only a precedent that has been set in this country using the Constitution of the land, Article 94(2), that makes it clear that could rule that he behaved outside the laws of the land. If the president had the power to be whipping the justices of the Supreme Court in life, I'm not sure Mr. Dominigo would have won that case. So let us put it that way. I think the laws of the land, my personal opinion is that I do not believe in by-elections. As a country, our tax to GDP is nothing to write home about. And so if go back and organize another election, is the NDC being a responsible party to safeguard the resources of this country? Or is it the case that the party does not have enough human resources available to contest that seat in Assin North? What if, for Christ's sake, Mr. Jechikwesi is no more? Wouldn't they find another candidate to contest? I was thinking that the NDC as a political party will get a replacement so that they would provide all the necessary support to him, Jechikwesi, to fight the battles with the state and come out clean so that in subsequent elections, if they want him to contest, doing in the last couple of days, the banter between our brother Sami Jamfi and the Electoral Commission. I find it very unfortunate. I think the National Democratic Congress must begin to up the game. See, if Hasselhoff and Kotoko have a serious match, the last match of the league season, Kotoko needs a win at all cost to be champions. Now, Senna, the lineup comes up, and I see Senna as the one in post. Meanwhile, Senna has 3 yellow cards. And for which reason the NPP, together with the EC, is trying to force it into it. When you do that, and I know why he did that, because when you go on the grounds, the only reason the NPP lost the last election was that in terms of strategic thinking and scientific analysis, we did not choose the right candidate. When you enter Assin North constituency, there are various polling stations and so on, areas in there.
there's a process of certification which has concluded or is about to be concluded and so on. Electoral Commission, which have the power to... So you contest the elections. Elections are over. Constituents again, or a constituent, then decide to challenge his election on the basis of qualification. Now, under the laws of Ghana, petitions are not handled by the Supreme Court. Election petitions are handled by the High Court. So the petitioners the two can't be the same. Renunciation of citizenship and certification of renunciation cannot be the same. But if you read the Supreme Court position, there's no distinction between renunciation of citizenship and certification of renunciation. That creates a huge problem. The Supreme Court, in citizenship of a country and allegiance to a country, doesn't make that distinction. And that, for me, is problematic. The Supreme Court, in its decision,